Put ball in basket. You put ball in basket, more than other guys put ball in basket, you win game, right? What do people say all the time? We just got to make shots. We just got to make shots. You're like, well yeah, if we make shots, we win. Well, historical shot making in Madison Square Garden yesterday by the Indiana Pacers. You make shots, you win, and you advance. Good morning to you. Merry Monday, unless you're a Nugget fan. Opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Your conference finals are set. You've got a weekend where you crown champions all over Albuquerque and now really all over the state, but in Albuquerque. And you got a weekend where an Aztec is a major champion. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. How you living?
What it do?
You all right back there?
All right.
All right, rough one last night. Nuggets lose. We will have a new champion of the National Basketball Association. It will not be the Denver Nuggets for the fifth straight year. The defending champions do not get through the second round. Minnesota wins Game 7 in Colorado and won it with just a bizarre series where the road team won 6 out of 7, 98-90. And it's not like they got crazy numbers out of Anthony Edwards or Karl Anthony Towns. They just played a better game because you had two guys, if you're the Denver Nuggets, score 69, almost 70 of your 90 points. And you're up by 15. And all of a sudden, here come the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were younger, bouncier, and honestly, probably throughout this series, I mean, when you look at it, there was those middle three games, they're better.
They were the better basketball team, and this is one where it's hard to explain the series with the swings, because if you're the Nuggets, you came back and you were down 2-0, you were broken, you won 3 games in a row, but then you were embarrassed the last 2 games. You lost by 45 points, and then saw Minnesota take away a 20-point lead in your building.
What that?
At one point in time in the second half, it was a 54-24 run for Minnesota. And you look at the numbers for the Nuggets, you know, the championship team that got nothing from Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and that's it. That's who they are. They're a team that got no production off the bench. Christian Brown turned into a nice player. He's a piece for them, but it was pretty much how far can your stars take you? Well, for Denver, they took them to Game 7, and then when Minnesota flipped the switch defensively in the second half, they look like the best team in basketball.
16 points out of your starters not named Jokic or Murray. Murray came to play last night. He's been taking heat. He shot the ball 27 times. He scored 35 points, and he came to play yesterday. But those two guys score 69 of your 90 points. You get 16 total points or 21 total from guys on your roster not named Jokic or Murray, and it's a tough way to win. And they get beat. And we'll get into what do they do and how do they reset. The Nikola Jokic after the game, somebody asked him, do you feel, it was so close? Do you feel like you were the better team? He said, no. He said in 7 games, the team who wins the better team. They're a better team. And there's a part of me that appreciates that. I know people are like, you gotta have this fire. No, that guy's a champion.
Not at
best
that
player
point
in the world. They beat you
after a Game 7 loss in which you were embarrassed plenty of times in that series, even with winning 3 games in a row.
You're up 24-19 at the end of the first quarter. You're up 53 to 38 at halftime. And then you score 14 points in the third quarter. You came out and, I don't want to say crapped all over yourself, but what happened in the third quarter? What happened? What's the difference? Where's the heart of the champion? All that stuff in a Game 7. Like, you got run out of the building by 45 in Game 6. And then you come out and let me give it to Minnesota, by the way. I can't make this all about the Nuggets not doing it. I got to give it to a young Minnesota team because I think there would have been I don't want to say easy. There would have been teams in their position who would have said, you know what? We're down in Game 7. We came this far. We're almost here, but this young team put it together. And I know they're not super young. They're not Oklahoma City young, But their
No,
first run at this.
Well, they were they lost in the first round last year.
Well,
But Nas Reed wasn't healthy, McDaniels wasn't healthy. So they believe, like to them, and the way they're talking with Anthony Edwards, they don't look at this as a first runner. They have to learn anything.
Right.
They believe they are that team right now.
And even when they were down by 20 in Game 7 on the road to the defending champions, I give it to them for having the whatever it is, and we'll talk about it. We'll see how far they go because now they get Dallas next. But they go on that 32-9 run from early in the third quarter till still early in the fourth, and they get control, right? And it wasn't all about their star, and that's what makes this kind of impressive. In that run, Anthony Edwards went 1 for 9. Now, he found it late, right? That step back three was tremendous. But it wasn't all about just, okay, they're one star. When you look at their balanced scoring and guys, and to your point, Nas Reed was really, really, really good coming off the bench.
Yeah, he changed the game for them in the second half.
And he's kind of been that guy in the series in a lot of respect.
He has been. That's why he's the sixth man of the year. He can shoot the three. He can score the basketball off the dribble. He can defend well. And I was super impressed with Minnesota this entire series. And it wasn't just, from when I put the fan hat on, rooting for the Denver Nuggets. Did you see this team? They defend differently. When they're locked in, they are a different basketball team. This was a series that's going to be so hard to explain looking back on it. But still, from top to bottom, Minnesota's the better basketball team. Minnesota has the ability to win an NBA championship this season. Because even with Anthony Edwards having a bad game, he still found a way to affect it. He was all over Jamal Murray in the second half. He had that steal and the dunk as a part of that run. He's their energy guy. Karl Anthony Towns, I think, announced himself as a legit go-to player in this series. And looking ahead, for the Mavericks with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they're going to see something that Oklahoma City couldn't show them. And that's McDaniels and Edwards, guys that step up and defend unlike anyone else right now in the NBA.
Jaden McDaniels was great all season and really good throughout the playoffs. And when they needed somebody in Game 7, when their star Anthony Edwards wasn't scoring, McDaniels went 7 of 10 from the field and scored 23 points. He pulled down 6 rebounds. And you said going into it, and you're not wrong, statistically, you're right. They're the best defensive team in the NBA all year. And they've been the best defensive team in the NBA through the playoffs. And cliches are cliches for reasons, I imagine, heart of a champion, all this stuff. Defense wins championships. And in the NBA, you got the two teams in the East are the two highest scoring teams in the NBA that you'll see. Indiana and Boston are going to go at each other. This is going to be an interesting series between Minnesota and Dallas because, certainly Minnesota plays defense. And it's going to be I'm interested to watch them clamp down, see what they can do with Kyrie, because Kyrie's special offensively creating his own shot. And then you got maybe the most talented offensive guy in the league in Luka Doncic.
Yeah, Luka is going to see McDaniels and Edwards. And that's what I think makes Anthony Edwards so special is he takes on that responsibility on both ends of the floor. He had a rough shooting game yesterday, 6-24. You credit Denver to what they were able to do. They were double teaming Edwards all the time, and that allowed open plays in which Minnesota took advantage of. When the Nuggets passed out of the double team from Jokic, they missed all those shots. And I can't wait to watch how Minnesota deals with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, because those guys had a heck of a series against the Thunder team, which they feels probably like next year they're going to explode once again after being the number 1 seed this season. But it's just, I was so impressed when Minnesota is on. They just have a different edge. You don't see that edge from the Celtics, the Pacers, or the Mavericks.
So you got the 1 and the 6 left in the East. It'll be the Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. You have got the 3 and the 5 in the West. Well, they say just get in. Last year, the Lakers got into the conference finals as a playing 7 seed, right? So you just got to get into the tournament. Oklahoma City was the 1 in the West. They got eliminated. Nuggets were 2. They got eliminated. And that's what you got left. I got a ton to do and a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts. When we come back, 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. I know you have thoughts on the weekend that was, between what you saw in Dallas and Oklahoma City, between what you saw the two games yesterday, game 7s, with the Knicks and the Pacers, and we're going to get into that, and then the Nuggets last night getting beat at home in game 7. How about the two road teams winning game 7s, which is something else too.
It was impressive for the Knicks. They just finally ran out of bodies.
And I want to get there because there's still a part of me that thought, oh, man, they're going to come back. We got all kinds of state stuff to get into. Xander Schauffele. Did you watch the golf at all?
I couldn't stop watching it. That leaderboard was unbelievable. Everything
it's supposed to be in a major. And so we're going to go there as well. Lot to recap. Like a lot to recap. Even if you like the horse racing, Seize the Gray and the Preakness was the winner. The baseball was good over the weekend. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. Emails jeff@sportsanimалabq.com, jj@sportsanimалabq.com, Twitter or X _JJ Buck. And on the Facebook, you can watch the show Adrian's producing on ProView Networks at the OD in the AM. We're on Comcast Channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico and on the YouTube channel for ProView Network. When we come back, they flat out just ran out of bodies. There's still something there. I thought they were going to come back and get it done. It's the Pacers who are moving on. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
I'm going out, Grandma.
When are you coming home?
I'll be home late. Don't wait up, okay?
Be careful, Mijito.
Love you, Grandma.
Mijito. He's a good man. Sometimes he just makes bad decisions. I tell him, Mijito, cuidado. Be careful. You might hurt someone. He doesn't listen.
Stop, okay?
Hello.
It's me.
Hi, mijo. Where are you?
Dale is drinking and driving. I need you to come and get me, okay? Please, Grandma? Can you just come and get me? Grandma?
Leave him in jail.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action.
Bizarre when I split screened it, right? You had the Game 7 going on, and you had the back nine of the PGA Championship happening at the same time. And the PGA was terrific. The Pacers and Knicks wasn't terrific. And I'm glad I flipped the audio over when I did, because I heard that Jalen Brunson had broke his hand. But there was still a part of me, and at that point, and I don't have a dog in that race, but I didn't want to see the Knicks go into the next round. Right? To go play the Celtics without Jalen Brunson, with all the injuries they got, I kind of wanted to see a series. Does that make sense? Like, I was rooting for Indiana at that point, just because I thought the next round would be way better.
And when it was double digits, Jalen Brunson was out. You knew that series was over.
Every time they would carve it down to 12, Rick Carlisle would call timeout, and they turned that thing around. But Indiana shot the ball at a stupid pace, at just ridiculous. 76+% in the first half. 67.1% overall is the highest field goal percentage for a playoff game in NBA history. And I opened the show by basically saying it's a simple game, right? Put ball in basket. It's called basketball. Put ball in basket. And all the time, if we don't turn the ball over and we make shots, we're going to win the game. All right, fine. Well, they put ball in basket, and they didn't turn the ball over a lot, and they won game. It was pretty simple. Indiana was impressive, and again, as a 6th seed coming out of the East, and I don't know what kind of, we'll talk about the addition with Pascal Siakam, but you got an Aggie playing in the Mexico State Aggie, playing in the NCAA in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. A guy who was a first-round draft pick and was, I don't know, trade. It was a little bit before trade deadline, but trade deadline-ish moves. This was about as big of a move as there was in the league this year, wasn't there? You got a bigger one at the trade?
Pascal Siakam was the best player. Him or OG, and I think Pascal.
And they were both before the deadline a little bit.
Yeah, so Toronto traded OG Anunoby to New York, and Pascal Siakam to Indiana, and both played huge roles.
Yep. And then OG Anunoby got hurt, and so he wasn't there for this playoff run. He had that hamstring issue.
I think he hurt in game 1 of this series.
Yeah. Chasing down a break. Is there a bigger impact player than Siakam?
Well, you look at some of the moves that were made.
Yeah.
I think Pascal Siakam stayed with the best player, OG, nipping at his heels, because OG is a really good player.
he was terrific.
PJ Washington, acquired by the Mavericks.
Yeah,
so they're in the Western Conference Finals.
And he's been their 3rd best player. I mean, he in times was their 2nd best player.
Been one of the most impactful trade deadlines in a long time.
Yeah. And so you got a former Aggie that just had a heck of a game again yesterday, and Siakam had 20 points, but he's been that guy in the middle, and he's a guy who's won a championship, right? I think you forget, or if people do, that he was on that Toronto team that won a championship. You're like, Toronto won a championship? Yes, Toronto won a championship. They were terrific yesterday, and when you look at 67%, they were 54+% from 3-point land, 13 of 24. They spread it around. Halliburton had 26. Siakam had 20. Nembhard, where does that come from? The kid from Gonzaga had 20 yesterday. The Neesmith had 19. Turner had 17. And then they get TJ McConnell, the super sub, off the bench. So you get 6 guys in double figures, and everybody in your starting lineup scores at least 17 points. And they went probably 9 deep. He goes 9 deep. He goes, which is a lot deeper than many. You give them a chance against the Celtics?
I do, because I think they'll offensively, when they're on fire, that's going to win them I think 2 games in the series. Right now, I'm feeling Celtics in 6, but the Pacers just have a ton of confidence that they can shoot their way through anything.
They score, man. I mean, they just flat out score points. And again, these are the 2 highest scoring teams in the NBA this year. The Pacers averaged over 123 points per game, and the Celtics 120.5 points per game. The next highest scoring team in the league was Oklahoma City, just over 120. So, and just for perspective, what does that mean? The other 2 teams who are left, Minnesota. So I just told you the Pacers average 123.3. Minnesota, who's in the Western Conference Finals, average 113 points a game, and the Mavericks 117.9, so 118. So, I mean, 5 and 10. They average 5 and 10 points more than teams on the other side. It almost feels like role reversal, right? Usually it's the Eastern Conference who slogs along, and it's the West that scores. Now, it's not like the 2 teams in the West don't score, but the best defensive team in the left is Minnesota, and these 2 offensive teams on the Eastern side, they should put on a hell of a show.
They should, and it's what can Boston find an edge? They really haven't had to have an edge. These, talent wise, it feels like they've been able to just coast through the first 2 rounds. And guess what? When you're the number 1 seed, it's kind of the point, is you expecting the better matchups early in the playoffs. Has Boston had the 5th best defense in regular season, but can they bring that to the table against a Pacers team that has shown that they can score on anyone and have done it all year long?
All right, what do you do with the Knicks now? The Knicks just got beat up to the point where, all right, they couldn't do it anymore. And once they lost Jalen Brunson to the broken hand, it was a kind of a freak injury. He slapped it down on a playing defense. And he caught his hand on it. It looked like a knee. Is that kind of what you got out of that? Where he broke his hand?
Yeah, and when he broke his left hand.
Yeah.
Kind of freak accident.
And so what are the Knicks now? Are the Knicks built? What more do the Knicks need? You look at Dante DiVincenzo, who had 39 points yesterday. Dante DiVincenzo was terrific. And the Villa Knicks, or the Nova Knicks, Hart, DiVincenzo, and Jalen Brunson are a hell of a core. But where do they go? They're going to hit the free agent market. They lost Julius Randle. They lost OG Anunoby, the Bogdanovich, Mitchell Robinson, right? I mean, they were just playing. Are they just get healthy and add a couple of pieces, or they'll hit? Don't you think they'll hit the free agent market hard?
I don't think they'll hit it hard.
You don't,
because they'll try to re-sign OG, so that's going to be an extended contract that they have, and then so you'll have.
What do you do with Hartenstein?
You're going to try to negotiate with him. You want to bring those players back.
He was good,
but you hit just ceilings with certain
players.
I think for them, it's deciding, what do you move forward with Mitchell Robinson and his injury history versus maybe trying to move him and then re-sign Hartenstein. So the base is good because they have Brunson, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Randall signed. So you have those 4. You work on seeing if you can fit a contract extension in there for Anunoby, and then figure out what direction you're going to go at center.
Of the 2 teams who got knocked out yesterday, the Nuggets and Knicks, who do you feel better about moving forward?
Feel better about the Nuggets?
I think I do too, right? Because they got Jokic for 4 more years.
Yeah.
All right.
But they're both similar teams just in terms of the way they're constructed. Depth is an issue. Even now, you can say, well, the Knicks have the depth. But
When
we'll
they're healthy.
see if they can retain all that next year, because they made some trade deadline moves to acquire those pieces. But are they going to be able to maintain that next year? And I think for the Nuggets, you're looking around at like Michael Porter Jr., man. He was taken out of this series.
Right.
Like he can be really good offensively. Is he going to bring anything else to the table? Can he be a
I think
decent
he's
defender?
maxed. No, I think he's maxed. I think you've got to find.
And then the same thing for Jamal Murray. Like I appreciate, I like that he showed up in Game 7, and he put in the effort on both ends of the floor. But he looked just super one-dimensional in that series.
What do you do with Murray? Because look, and you laid it out pretty good here. He's eligible for a max. So Denver could offer him 4 years at $208.5 million. Right? That's $52 million a year. It would be 46.5 million. Is that only 46.5? It's 52 million. Would begin the year after next. And he'd be up to 57.7 in this last year. Or he could bet on himself. His best bet is signing at max here if they offer him the max. I can't see him betting on himself and getting a better deal. Well, he can't.
No. And the Nuggets are an organization. They trust Jamal Murray. Yeah. They went through his injuries with him. He came back. They won an NBA championship. Right. So you know the Nuggets are not going to overreact. They're going to take a step back, but I still think that to be proactive in this moment, to maximize the next few years with Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray are players that have to be in conversations of, all right, they have max contracts, but can that allow you to make a move for another max player? Are they intriguing enough to where those could be candidates in a deal for a team that's looking to move a guy? And I think an interesting swap might be to see what a player like Donovan Mitchell would look like alongside Jokic in a Murray swap.
I mean, I'd rather see Donovan Mitchell than Murray at this point. At this point. All right, Nugget fan, let's go. What do you do? Because I know you're there. You got knocked out. Are you still a championship level team? And I think the answer is yes. You still got Nikola Jokic. But what's going to be around him moving forward? What do you do? The number is 505-246-0610. 888-922-0610 if you're still paying a toll. 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. We got to get into local baseball. They were able to scrape out a win in the final game of their series against San Jose State, so they did get into the conference tournament. We'll get with them, and when we come back, what a week of major golf. Comes down to the final putt, rim it around, and a guy who played golf in the Mountain West Conference wins a major championship. We'll get into that when we get back. International Protective Service is now taking security to a whole new level, like literally a whole new level. For 18 years, IPS has offered standing guards, 24-hour patrols, protecting homes and businesses in Albuquerque. Recently, they launched service in Santa Fe. But now IPS Global Aviation is using a fleet of drones with high-definition cameras and analytics software to exceed your security expectations. With the drones, IPS can monitor your next event. They can track emergency response. They can follow criminal activity that you can't see from the ground. The drones include thermal imaging, so IPS can help with eyes in the sky during the wildfire season. It's unmatched ability to watch from the air. On the ground, IPS continues to use highly trained, armed officers to watch the home or businesses that mean so much to you. They install cameras, monitor them around the clock. It deters criminal activity around your property. Even they offer personal bodyguards if you have a threat to your safety. So if you have a security issue, IPS has you covered. The number is 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. IPS passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
And then there was the golf this weekend, a major championship, the PGA Championship in Valhalla. A guy who played golf in the Mountain West Conference, former Aztec, Xander Schauffele. He had a gold medal, but he had never broken through at a major. And he does with an insane field yesterday. It was the lowest 72-hole score ever to win a major, 21 under par. And Xander leads wire to wire. He shoots a 62 in round one on Thursday and holds on with a field that closed on him. And it ended up being Bryson DeChambeau, who hits the ball like nobody you've ever seen before. And both of them making birdie on 18. And Xander with that. Did you see he hits a tee shot right next to the trap on 18 and has both feet in the trap. The ball's about shin high on his second shot. It's a par 5 drive that's gettable, and you have to make birdie. You just have to. And a lot of guys make an eagle. And Xander was able to hit a terrific shot, an even better chip, and then makes a putt and wins. But JJ, the leaderboard, as you look through it, and you're watching all these guys come up, and whether it was DeChambeau or Morikawa or Victor Hovland or Justin Rose, the Shane Lowry throws up a 62 on Saturday. It just great names. Scotty Scheffler was tied for 8th after his whole crazy stuff. This was the way a major's supposed to be. It was fun.
And I will say, when Bryson DeChambeau is on, he's a dude I enjoy watching play golf.
He's different, huh? And the crowd seemed to love him too, man.
He's a guy that, yes, the off the court stuff, it was off the course stuff. When he kind of had that rivalry going with Brooks Koepka for a little bit, it was interesting. And then he definitely got extra whiny off the course because of the live stuff. But when he is on playing golf like that, it is entertaining, and his energy, his emotion, his shot making ability down the stretch. He thought he was in the playoff. Like he thought Xander Schauffele was going to go out there,
make par on 18,
and let's go.
And Xander had to scramble on 17 to make par.
And what Xander did the last 2 holes was super impressive, and they're seeing all those shots too of DeChambeau out there on the range with that giant screen he was staring at, watching Schauffele down the stretch. That was fantastic drama, and this leaderboard. Watching the way these guys were playing, like I did not turn it off. I was locked in Saturday, locked in on Sunday, seeing who was going to make that move, and it was fascinating to see Xander finally hold on because he was good enough, shooting an opening round 62. But with the amount of pressure that he was under, and knowing that he couldn't slip up down the stretch because one of those other guys was going to pass him, it was super impressive. And it. Looking down, man, there were some unbelievable rounds played Saturday and Sunday, and it still wasn't good enough because 21 under is a crazy score.
It is a crazy score. You had Lowry with a 62 on Saturday. You had the 62 on the first round by Xander. You just look through it, and you're like 65, 65, 64 by Justin Rose on Saturday to make his move. But the names that were up there. Does anybody... The live thing, and I'm let me preface this: it doesn't bother me that they all wear their live uniforms. Anybody push it harder than Bryson right now?
No,
which is fine. Again, what is the BD? I honestly don't know what his team is. Kind of a cool little golf ball, cross, clubs logo. I mean, it's kind of a cool logo. I don't even know what it is, but yeah, he loves that thing, doesn't he? And somebody asked me yesterday at the golf course. Yeah, how's Nance going to handle it if a live guy wins the PGA Championship? Because Nance is obviously not a big live guy. The preface is it doesn't bother me. He pushes it pretty hard, though. I wonder, when you see those guys, and I look at the live golfers, and if I'm not mistaken, you had a live golfer at second, and then the next one was, I think, Dean Burmeister, if he's a live guy, and I don't even know if he is. And then Koepka was down at 26th, tied for 26th. He shot a 9 under par. There weren't a ton in here, right? Joaquin Niemann is a live golfer. Dustin Johnson shot 6 under, and they weren't, aside from the guy who was number 2, and obviously that's a huge factor. The rest of them weren't there. I don't know, JJ. When I'm watching it, I don't think about it until I just kind of see that they're not billboards, they're not NASCARs, they're wearing their uniforms, right? Like Mickelson wears his high flyers thing, and they all do. And I'm down with it. I don't have a problem with it.
I think
I almost think it's cleaner than wearing 18 different logos on your shirt and hat.
I think it shows you that
they're unified.
The golfers, golf fans,
yeah,
we're in it just to see the best. Like, give me the moments. I don't care if at that point in time you're coming down the stretch, you're representing Live or PGA. Like, it was just a great tournament and an unbelievable weekend. And of course, that it looked good, but it was very gettable because man, look at those scores. Like, it was, and then the whole Scotty Scheffler
was -1
drama too, which continue to get into, and like you think it's so disappointing, and that dude shot 13 under.
So the Scheffler thing could come to an end tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. He's got his hearing tomorrow in Louisville, and he's got to be in court, and they could drop it. There was no lapel camera is what I'm trying to tell you. Evidently, the officer had it turned off, which I think is going to probably play in Scheffler's favor. Why isn't a protocol to have your lapel camera on? He's in court tomorrow. I thought that it was going to get to him on day 2, and it did. And I want you to just think about being human, right? And the adrenaline getting out of jail and going to the golf course, like that was okay. And then I say, what is it going to get to him? He shoots a 66 that day, the day after. So then when you sleep on it, I'm going to guess he didn't sleep well Friday night. After all that went down and have to deal with the press conference. The press conference was just crazy watching him talk about it. And then he came out and shot the 73 the next day, and that's what took him out of the tournament, right? If he comes in and like he went 67, 66, 65 in the other days. So give me the middle one. Give him let's say he shoots a 68. Take 5 strokes off of that. He's at 18. He's right there, right? He's right there. But I'm going to guess, just as a human being, after all that, when he finally put his head on the pillow, and he was the only one in that hotel room, and it was dark, and you know where your mind goes at night, and you start running through what the hell just happened today. I'm going to guess he probably, and then what could happen.
We had that stretch of 3 holes on Saturday. We went double and bogey.
Yeah, but I'm going to guess his night of rest wasn't as good as it normally is. I mean, bottom line is the felony, 5 to 10 years in prison, right? I mean, I don't think any of us think he's going to prison for 5 to 10 years, but that in your mind you start thinking, man, what if they want to make an example and all the things that go through your mind, right? When you're laying there in the middle of the night. You figured as a human being he was going to come back and have one of those mortal rounds, and he did on Saturday, and that's what took him out of it. But when it was all said and done, he ends up tied for 8th and made $521,418. You know what Bryson made to finish second? See, $1,998,000. It's $2 million. Finish second. The winner's check was $3.3 million. $3,330,000.
Oh, Bryson, he's finished inside the top 10 in 4 of his last 7 major appearances.
Yeah, was he on your radar going in? Brooks Koepka was on everybody's.
I know Brooks is the name, but Bryson's the dude. Been showing up at the majors the last 2. Well, he's right
playing
there.
Well, right? Koepka won the last live event.
Yeah, but you also saw Bryson at Augusta. Really good.
Rory finished 12th, tied for 12th. He shot a 12 under. He went 66, 71, 68, 67. A rough day on Friday is what kept him out of it. And he's the guy who won the week prior. Remember, the week prior to wherever we were watching, where was that tournament? It was Rory and Xander on the last day. Remember, Xander had that eagle 2 weeks ago on the 7th hole, went up by 2, and then Rory went on that stretch where he was 8 under for 8 holes and buried Xander and put him away. But Xander finished second the week before, and was one of the favorites going in. Bottom line is, man, great field, great tournament, really big shot making, and I'm stoked for Xander because the guy had a gold medal. He seems like a pretty good dude. Seems like a guy people like. He's a Mountain West guy. He's an Aztec. He's there's a little something to that certainly, but he was probably the guy that was saddled with the label best player to not win a major, right?
Yeah, at this point it was kind of dragging him back a little bit because we were looking at Rory and Grand Slam trying to accomplish that.
Spieth too.
Spieth and Thomas have been
pedestrian in majors. Yeah,
even though Justin Thomas, hometown kid,
a big deal.
shot 13 under.
Yeah, 13 under sounds like it's so good.
It was
tied for 8th.
It was tied for 8th. Like this course ended up being a lot easier over the weekend.
Well, I think the top guys separated themselves. I mean, the winning number is crazy at minus 21. The top 25, 28 guys separated themselves. I mean, not everybody did that. And you look at some of the guys who didn't make the cut. And, the Tiger thing was he didn't play well. And at some point, we're just gonna have to say, dude, you can't just come out and play once a month and
That's all
compete
he
with
can
these.
do.
I know, and that's
Well, I think we have a pattern.
yeah.
We think even with the undulations of the course, like Augusta's one, he can make the weekend at. The rest, probably not making the cut.
Well, look, I think Tiger's going to make some cuts. I do. And before he won the Masters the last time, I told you I really thought he was going to win a major. I don't think he wins another major. I just, unless he starts playing golf again. And I don't know what that means, JJ. I mean, if his leg is what it is, and it's just not going to let him walk, and do that 2-3 times a month. But at 48 years old and reconstructed, going up against some of these guys, all these guys who are in their prime and are freaking good, dude. This field is deep. I mean, it's not like, there was 50 years ago where there were a few really good golfers. I mean, pick one. Go down to the Maverick McNeelys and Tommy Fleetwoods, right? There are so many unbelievable golfers in the world now. And look at the top of this board: Xander Schauffele, DeChambeau, Victor Hovland, Morikawa, Rose, Lowry, Horschel, Scheffler, Thomas, McIlroy. They're everywhere, dude. Thigala's coming. I just don't see how at 48, as good as he was, and he was the best I've ever seen, reconstructed, you can just show up once a month and think you're going to compete. 505-246-0610. Want your thoughts on what you saw out there? And can Tiger just do that? I mean, he's got 2 more majors. I think he'll make a cut, but I can't see how he wins. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Or not even necessarily close out, but get into it a little bit more, because what he said after it was all said and done really puts his side of things in perspective. I don't want to lose sight of the whole what happened, and a man lost his life, and I think Scotty's acknowledged that because Scotty Scheffler is the number one golfer in the world, and he was arrested and everything that happened. You saw the video. That's the story that continues to live on in this world, in the sports world. And he's got an arraignment scheduled for tomorrow morning at 7:00 our time in Louisville. He doesn't know if he's got to appear in court yet. He called it a big misunderstanding. But I told you I thought that it would be the day after when it really hit him, and it did. He came out of jail, shot the 67, did the press conference, and you start thinking as a human being, what happens? You go home that night, you go back to your hotel or your rental house or wherever you are, and once you're not around your agent and your caddy and the media and everybody else, and it's just you and your thoughts, and you put your head on that pillow and your head starts to race. I got to believe that was a really rough night, and the next day wasn't going to be very good. And he said that he was exhausted. He said it was hectic. Quote, this was after it all ended yesterday. Overall, right now, I'm fairly tired. Definitely a lot more tired than I've been finishing some other tournaments. But I'm proud of today, how we went out there and fought. I got off to kind of a slow start and was able to get some momentum and post a good round. Yesterday, he's talking about Saturday, obviously was quite frustrating, a bit of a different day, but overall, proud of how I fought this week. We're fortunate to be here competing, doing what I love. That was part of his quote. Now, look, he said that the gravity of what happened Friday, and again, you know the story, and this was all we talked about on Friday. Scotty Scheffler, the number one golfer in the world, is going into work, going to the golf tournament, and there was a fatal accident outside of Valhalla, and there was a police barricade. He tried to get around it, and what happened after that is somewhat up for debate, but the police report says that he accelerated and dragged the officer in, with all due respect, the $80 pants thing, whatever. He got arrested. He got booked. He got put in an orange jumpsuit, and they went and got him out of jail, and he shot a 67 that day. So he said the gravity of everything really didn't hit him until that night, and this is kind of where I was going with this. He said, he was booked downtown. He ate a few bites of eggs and a piece of bacon before his round. And then he returned back to the rental house after it was all done, and he realized he hadn't eaten dinner. It was 9:00, but he wasn't hungry. Quote, as somebody who's a pretty big eater, that was a strange feeling. So obviously my body was a bit off with what had happened in the morning. But like I said, I did my best to leave that behind me and come out here and compete and do what I love and support. And the support I got from the fans was amazing, end quote. So he's planning on going home. Remember, he just had a child, his son Bennett and his wife were there. But he's got this business in Louisville, and he's got the arraignment that's going on. He calls it a misunderstanding. He said he didn't understand the commands that were being given. And I got, I told you, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets dismissed tomorrow. You're not all that convinced. Les says, I couldn't disagree with Grady more. And Grady sent an email on Friday about this. He says, Jeff, unfortunately, the police have been turning into just another political vehicle. I hope this wasn't a cop thinking, here's my chance to be a hero down at City Hall to all the political appointees and deep state administrators that run Louisville PD by making an example of a rich, privileged, white male. Let me just tell you something. Everything I understand, the city of Louisville is really worried about this. That having an event like this in Louisville is a big deal. And I want to get into what it means because I talked to a number of people from Louisville and heard some people on the radio the other day. The city's somewhat embarrassed about what happened. I guess there's some pressure coming down on the PD. Will the PGA Championship ever come back to Louisville? And if they go forward with these charges, they better make damn sure they're right. And they've got the video, and evidently there is some video. We got a little change on the roster this morning. We'll get into that when we get back. Went to the bullpen. Omaha! Call a little audible this morning. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 690 Sports Zone.
Telling it like it is. I don't remember the East being this bad.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Walks win the state championship for La Cueva, and it doesn't get any crazier than that. The Preakness sees the Gray was the winner. Dwayne Lucas wins another big race, a Triple Crown race. So we got a lot to do. We give you phone numbers to get in. 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, and hit JJ later because we're going with a bullpen. We reached deep, had to go to the lefty, got the Roberto out of bed. Good morning, sweetheart.
You are entirely correct. I was sound asleep.
You still got all your sexy morning voice.
Yeah, well, that's a little head cold.
Is that what that is?
I wish I had this all the time.
Is that right? It's just great radio vibes.
Yeah, it is for a few hours.
Yeah, well, thank you for dragging yourself out of bed.
Well, yeah, every team needs good bench players that can come in at a moment's notice. So.
Yeah, that's right. And so JJ had some stuff you got to go take care of. It. Appreciate you getting up this morning. How was the weekend? Good?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, were you here all
Enjoyed doing
weekend?
the Topes yesterday afternoon.
They win yesterday?
Yes.
Look at that. I should know that. I did know that. Of course I.
Yeah, no, it was a tight game there. So.
All right, so they end up beating Sugarland in the finale. Baseball, Lobo style baseball. Lobos were winners, and they will play San Jose State. So they beat San Jose State. Then they had to, in extra innings, they went 11 innings to beat San Jose State to get into the conference tournament. They finished second in the conference, the best finish for UNM baseball since 2017, and they were down 6-0 after being shut out for the first 7 innings. They come back and they win 10-9. They scored 6 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th, get the winner in the 11th, and Lobo baseball gets one in San Jose, gets into the conference tournament. The Mountain West Conference tournament will start this Thursday. It will be in San Diego at Tony Gwynn Stadium on the campus of San Diego State. Lobos will get San Jose State for the 4th consecutive time. And San Jose State and Fresno State tied for 3rd place. Air Force wins the conference with an 18-12 record. New Mexico at 17-13, and then it's San Jose State and Fresno State. So Lobo baseball is in. It's a big deal for Lobo baseball. It is. It's been a minute, and so for the first time they're going since 2017. They go back to the conference tournament. And congratulations to them. We have just great stuff all over the place. The golf was terrific. If you want to get in on the golf, I want to hear from you. 505-246-0610. Is that again? 505-246-0610. And again, emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Text line says, thanks for all the special Tiger updates Friday. Those were really important as usual these days. Look, there were no Tiger updates on Friday because he played in the afternoon and he didn't make the cut. There was a whole lot of Scotty Scheffler updates on on Friday. And I want to finish the thought on Scotty Scheffler and Louisville, because there's people who think, they've got to hold him accountable. If he did something wrong, yeah, he's got to be held accountable. I'm not saying he shouldn't. Everything we're hearing, and I know, Bob, you heard this story too. It sounds like one officer told him to go one way, another told him another. There was Jeff Darlington from ESPN was right behind him, and that may be the best thing that happened to Scotty. Is Jeff Darlington was right there, and so they've got an account. He pulled out his cell phone during the arrest, but this okay. I was listening to a lot of people. I got a buddy from Louisville who was giving me kind of a feeling on what they are. They're a great sports town, right? Muhammad Ali's from there. They get the Kentucky Derby. They've got big events. They're evidently the biggest populated city in America. What I've been told. I didn't fact check this, but I've heard this 3 times. That doesn't have a pro sports team, NHL, National Football League, NBA, or Major League Baseball. And they consider themselves a big city. They feel that nobody else gives them that respect. And this is a big deal. For them to get a major, for them to get the PGA Championship to go there is a big deal. And this is a bad look if, in fact, this is just a cop who is trying, and I want to go back to if, because I don't know. But if this is a cop who was just, overzealous and slammed by every account, right? Grabbed the number 1 golfer in the world, slammed him up against the car, pushed his face against the car, cuffed him and booked him. Now, if Scotty did accelerate and drag this officer, then yeah, there's got to be some repercussions here. That doesn't sound from Jeff Darlington like what happened. But every other golfer somehow got in. They all have courtesy vehicles, and Scotty, from what I understand, was no different. He had a courtesy vehicle that was like tattooed in PGA Championship official vehicle, and up in the left corner of the windshield, there's a P for player. And for whatever reason, all these other players were in. Michael Collins from ESPN, the caddy that does a lot of reporting, the guy who follows Tiger around all the time. He said he was in already, and the other guys got in, and there was the accident, and they all were just waved through. And I don't know why Scotty Scheffler was treated any differently. But I got to believe at some point Louisville wants this to go away. And from everything I understand from people who are connected to that town, it's an embarrassing look for Louisville. And I got to believe that they want this to go away. They don't want PGA to say this is how you're treating our players. But again, I go back to the premise. If Scotty did something wrong, why was he the one singled out? Everybody else got through. Did he do something that they all didn't do? And I know you've heard, Bob, a couple of things that
yeah.
He was,
well, 2 things.
Yeah.
One, according to what I've read, and you mentioned it, first officer said to proceed or whatever.
Yeah, come over here,
and
come around.
This second officer yelled at Scotty who had his windows up and couldn't hear him,
right, and that's
to stop, and then jumped on the running boards. So there's that. And
which is consistent with what Jeff Darlington said when Jeff Darlington said the officer attached himself to the vehicle.
Right. So, and then Scotty stopped once he realized somebody
went about 10 yards.
Yeah, about 10. And there's one other thing. I was listening to a podcast over the weekend.
Yeah.
And you could probably confirm this. This radio host has played in a lot of amateur professional tournaments, and you have too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's always chaotic, and then you add a
fatality, the rain, the traffic,
everything else,
the darkness.
Yeah. So this is just, I think, an unfortunate comedy of errors because a person died. It was one of the vendors.
Yep.
And
a 69-year-old gentleman who was a volunteer, evidently, was out there and got hit by one of those little mini buses, those little pedestrian, spectator buses.
And I think you're entirely right. I think the city wants this thing to go away, and I would not be surprised if all charges are dropped.
Yeah, I think that's what'll happen tomorrow. We'll see how zealous they want to get. I got to believe the officer's saying, I need you to stand by me. This is what happened, and the police. Did you see the video? There was one officer saying, "Look, He's going to jail. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay. I mean, they were pretty vehement. There was another report. I'm trying to remember who it was, who said, there's some bleep tried to run over one of our cops. He's going to jail, right? Or run over one of our officers. Look, Scotty Scheffler is like the most unassuming. This is the guy. Now, is it? Let me play the other side of it for a second. Is it feasible? Dude just wanted to get to work, and I'm one of the players. I'm one of the golfers, and I'm in my marked vehicle. I'm just trying to get in and do my job, and I need to get in. And yeah, there's probably.
And the first officer said, "Go ahead."
Yeah, that's what I understand. There's a real feasibility, though. He was like, "Dude, I just got to get to work. Like, let me get through. You know who I am." And that's not okay if that happened either. Everything I hear though, Louisville, like the city, the mayor, the police chief, they want this thing to go away. This is embarrassing to them that the number one golfer in the world was slammed up against the car and put in an orange jumpsuit. By the way, it is one of the most bizarre. Friday was one of the most bizarre mornings, dude. So when I first heard, I woke up and I heard the number one golfer in the world, Scotty Scheffler, was arrested this morning. And so where does your mind go?
What?
Okay, so I'm thinking, did he get loose at a bar last night or had a couple of glasses of wine and got pulled over? Like, this is a guy who drinks a lot from everything we know. We don't know these guys, but, I mean, he's a church-going, just had a baby family man, right? I mean, like the last guy you would think, so did he just have a couple glasses of wine and get pulled over? Like what? And then you hear the whole story and you're like, wait a minute, what? Everything, but I agree with you. It was probably chaotic. Look, there was a fatality, so everybody's on edge, right?
Yes.
Now you got a major event where there's going to be a ton of traffic in it. So now you got a traffic jam, a police barricade, and a scene. You've got it's still dark out, and it's raining, and it's ultra chaotic, and everybody's probably on edge. And it feels like there was one officer who was a little further on edge than others. Scotty should make. I think what happens here, he buys this guy 5 pairs of damn $80 pants first, right? The police report, and by the way, to me the most embarrassing part of the whole thing is in the police report, and his $80 work pants were damaged beyond repair. Okay, it stop. Like, so Scotty should buy the guy 3 weeks worth of pants, donate. Here's $10,000 towards the police fraternal or brotherhood of order, or whatever, right?
Yeah, whatever charity the police
right, a police, wants. Yeah, and apologize and never go back to it.
I think he has apologized.
He has apologized, and look, this is one of those. It's just bizarre, man. It's
you can't write this stuff.
No, that was the one where you're just going, what the hell? All right, when we come back, then you can't really write this. The Nuggets coach, Michael Malone, is getting ripped for comments he made after the Game 7 loss last night. I can't play it for you because I haven't bleeped it and I don't know how to bleep it. But what's an acceptable question? We go back to the media thing all the time. It seems like a fair question. Maybe it's not. I'll let you decide. And was Michael Malone's bleeping tirade justified? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Hour.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like me, shorty, you got my attention. See you, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
For surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Conference finals are set in the National Basketball Association. Minnesota eliminated the defending champion Nuggets last night, so it'll be the Timberwolves against the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs eliminated the number one seed in the West on Saturday. Minnesota and Dallas in the West. Meanwhile, in the East, the Indiana Pacers beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden yesterday afternoon, 130 to 109. It'll be Indiana as a 6 seed. Headed on to the conference finals, they will play the number one seed in the East, the Boston Celtics. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. So we've had so many of these conversations about what's a good question, what's a dumb question, what's an acceptable question. For a coach to be salty. I'm going to play both sides of this here for a second because I understand both sides of it. Michael Malone is the Nuggets coach, and he went off a little bit on a reporting yesterday. Nuggets were eliminated, Game 7, Western Conference semifinals. Their goal was to get back and repeat. Now, I always want to be careful because, and I'm reading this, he's getting beat up. it says on the interwebs, people are like when everything's going good, these guys can't get enough of the reporters. But when you collapse in front of your home fans and your entire NBA community, you get mad at someone for asking you the most harmless question. Why don't you listen to this exchange and you tell me what you think, Bob? And it's clean. We're safe.
We're going to do it on the fly.
All right. This is after the game yesterday. You'll hear a reporter's voice first, and then you'll hear Michael Malone, the Nuggets coach, responding to the question. All right. But the part that was, that went quiet, he said, bleep being up by 20. The season's over. That's what's hard. Bleep being up by 20. That's what you don't understand. Stupid ass questions. I don't like the question. I'm not going to lie to you. What did you think of the question?
Reporters are reporter. They sometimes ask really stupid questions.
A lot of times.
How do you think I feel?
Right. I mean, so how hard is it? Those are really hard, and we all ask them. And I've sat in these rooms I've been doing this for a minute, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure I've asked stupid questions. Everybody wants to ask a question. Everybody wants to, you're in the room. Everybody wants to ask a question. You're hoping. How hard is it to absorb a loss like this after going ahead by 20?
Oh, I just love doing that. It was fantastic. I felt so good about losing. Sorry, my sarcasm button.
No, but you're hitting it, right? You're on.
Yeah.
I don't love how do you want him to quantify it? I hate the how hard questions. How hard is it? Well, I mean, what, on a scale of 1 to 10? How much does it hurt? But by the same token, Bob, you're right. He's got to ask a question, right? The reporter's got a job. And Michael Malone, I mean, was it the worst? I've heard way worse questions than that.
I'm sure you have.
And I know you have.
Yeah.
There's been way worse. And where he was going, the season's over. That's what's hard. That's what you don't understand. Bleep being up by 20. So what? So he threw an F-bomb in there? Is that why we're upset? Now, did he have to hit the guy with stupid ass questions? Probably not. I get both sides of this. I don't love the question. How hard is it to absorb a loss like this after going ahead by 20? How do you want him to quantify it? That's like, how big of a win is this? Well, I mean, it's a big win. How big of a loss? Well, our season's over. How do you want me to justify it? Right? It's a salty coach whose season just ended. See, I'm not going to kill Michael Malone. I can't kill him. Now, is it a good look? It's not a good look. And you always say, you need to be graceful in defeat. And how do you judge one's character? How do they respond when things are bad? All of these things. And Michael Malone loved the media. And yes, he used the media. And when he was winning championships, he loved it. And he loved the questions. And he loves the press conference. All that. Yes.
Well, when you're winning, the questions are different.
Oh, they're easy, aren't they?
Oh,
Everything's great when you're winning.
Yeah. How'd you feel about winning by 20 points?
Well, okay, but how big of a win, how great is it to win after being down by 20? Right?
Yeah.
It's the same question the other way.
Just reversed.
But it was great. We're down, whatever. I didn't want to be down by 20, but is it incumbent on the coach? I mean, we throw these guys out there, we make them mandatory. And we say we want them to be candid. We don't want coach speak. And then when they don't give you coach speak, you beat the hell out of them. Right? All over the interwebs. I'm not furious at him. I think he could have handled it better. And honestly, I wouldn't have even had a problem saying the season's over. That's what's hard. You don't understand that. Bleep being up by 20. The season's over. That's what's hard. Period.
Yeah.
Where he probably went over the top is stupid ass questions, right? The end one. What if he drops an F-bomb and says F being up by 20? That's the right answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer you wanted. Look, what hurts is the season's over. Bleep, and I don't disagree with him. Bleep being up by 20. then he hits you with stupid ass questions. And it might be a stupid ass question, but I mean, bottom line is, does it hurt anymore to lose being up by 20, or the fact that you're like, what if you weren't up by 20?
What if it was a 1-point game in the last 3 minutes?
Right. Dan, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Dan.
Good morning, Jeff. What's happening?
Lots, man. What's going on?
Is there a good question to ask the losing coach like that? I don't think there's even one. I mean, okay, Jefferson Vieta's right there in front. He's getting ready. Coach comes out, sits down. Jeff, you're first. What question do you ask him?
Yeah. Well, what I ask him is, how did the 20-point lead get away? You know what?
And is that even I mean, what's he supposed to say? I don't know. I mean, why even interview
I know.
losing coach like that, because there's not a good question. Now, the Joker, I thought he carried himself real well in the post game. He said, when a team beats you like that, they're just better than you.
100%. I thought that was great, right?
They're a better team.
Because someone asked him.
I was like, right on, Joker. Yeah. That's why you're the MVP, because you're real,
Well, somebody asked him, and I remember the question was, and I'm paraphrasing, but tell me if it wasn't right along this line. Does it hurt more because it went 7 games and you feel like you're the better team? And he said, no, we're not the better team. When you go 7 games, the better team wins, and they're the better team.
That's it right there. That ended it for me. I was like, right on, Joker. We'll see you next year. But is there ever a good question to ask the losing coach? I mean, what do you ask him?
No, it's hard, man. It's hard.
It's not a good question.
Look, I've been in a million of those rooms, man. I've covered a lot. I've covered a lot of games where the team I'm covering doesn't win, and they're uncomfortable, man. They're not fun. They're just not fun. No. But look, you can't only talk when you win. It just can't be that way. And I'm not mad at him. I'm just not even mad at Michael Malone. I know he's getting beat up at it but he's frustrated. Do you want him to be a little bit more, I don't know, graceful, tactful, whatever your word is, classy, whatever, pick your word. I don't love the question, but yeah, if you've got to, if you're going to get loved on when you win, you got to deal with it.
And I didn't think he was the type to come off like that because, all season and everything, he just seems like such a easygoing, easy to answer questions. And he was really out of sorts when they asked him those yesterday. So it was obvious how he felt, Yeah. He was pissed. It sucked. Leave me alone, Yeah,
I get it. No, you're right. All right, Dan. Good to hear you.
Okay, guys. Later, man.
All right. I don't know, man. I know I'm supposed to come out and defend the business, and the reporter was just doing his job. And everybody do. I'm looking at the reaction. What a punk loser! This bleep is so corny. Making millions of dollars, coach the best players on earth, yet unable to handle a very normal, non-confrontational question by a reporter. And I'll give you that. It was a non-confrontational question. Michael Malone is an incredibly unlikable guy. Michael Malone is my favorite coach. I think he's the best, but this is absolutely terrible for him. You can't be the guy who complains about not getting enough media coverage and then get upset when you don't like the question. I mean, this is all on the tweeter. It's a bad look for him. And again, if he didn't chase it with stupid ass questions, he'd have been fine. You can drop the F-bomb, bleep being up by 20. I don't love the question, but to Dan's point, what do you want to ask him? If Michael, you're up by 20. What happened? Did you do something differently? Did it just not make its shots? Did they do something different? What happened that the 20-point lead down? Is that a fair question?
Well, it is because what happened?
Because you want to know.
What happened to your players?
Yeah, you want to know what happened.
They went to sleep.
Now, to ask how hard is it to absorb a loss when you're up by 20?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard way worse questions.
Yeah.
But how do you want them to quantify? It's really
and what questions can you ask?
Well, that's kind of what Dan's saying. Yeah. It's hard. All right. Coming up at 9:30 this morning. That's an hour from now. Todd Brown's going to be with us, Lobo baseball coach. Lobos outlast San Jose State in the final game of the regular season and clinch their first conference tournament berth since 2017. They are the 2 seed in the Mountain West Conference tournament, and Todd Brown's going to the conference tournament for the first time since he's been the head coach. at UNM. So we're going to talk to their head coach and get you ready for what's coming up and talk about the excitement of getting it done in San Jose on over the weekend. So we'll do that coming up at 9:30. I love your thoughts on this, and you guys are sending me some emails on it. 505-246-0610 and emails Jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. You can come on in here. Where do the Nuggets go from here? Never mind what their coach says. Want your thoughts on where they go? Do they have to completely retool to get back to championship level? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Hour.
This report is brought to you by Blake's Lotaburger.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Just got a lot better at Blake's Lotaburger.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burkia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part,
so that no child goes without love.
and no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For our age, just remember, we're not that kind of station. Creeper.
All right, Mo helped me out understanding this. We're talking about the Michael Malone response to the question, stupid ass questions, he said. And Mo says one thing is asking about the game. The other is asking about how someone feels. One, how did the 20-point lead get away? Two, how do you absorb a loss after being up 20? He said how hard. I always hate the how hard is it, or how much does it mean, or how big of a, how do you want to quantify that? You know, how much does it mean? I don't know. How do you answer how much does it mean? How hard is it to, well, it's very hard. Well, it's not hard. Oh, it's kind of hard. Oh, it's relatively hard. Oh, it's semi. I mean, what? See, his answer was dead ass on. The hard part is the season's over. That's what you don't understand. That's the hard part. Bleep being up by 20. Yeah, I don't give a damn if I was up by 20, 30, or down by 20. We lost. Season's over. I have no problem with the question or with the answer until, right, stupid ass questions. Okay. All right. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Dan's in on Mountain West Baseball. Todd Brown's going to be with us. Their baseball coach at UNM as they get into the conference tournament for the first time since 2017. He says, Jeffrey, no Juan Jose, and returning Gato Alberto. Have you ever seen a closing day where you can win and you could be regular season champ, but if you lose, you could miss the district tournament? No, it was crazy. You had the three teams behind the Lobos in the conference standing. So Air Force won the conference with an 18-12 record. Lobos were second at 17-13. And one game back was Fresno State, Nevada, and San Jose State. So if the Lobos would have lost on Saturday, I don't know if they'd have got in. I don't know what the tiebreakers were. San Jose State would have jumped up to the 2 seed. And the Lobos would have fallen into a three-way tie with Fresno State and Nevada. And we'll talk to Todd about, what the tiebreaker scenario would have been. I honestly don't know the answer. Gopher says, blued out of the San Diego Built, Jeff. First of all, Bobcat sounded good this morning. Yes, he is. Bobcat always sounds good. Is there a team in the country that needs a win more desperately than the Gladiators? Probably not. No, they need to win. Rod says, it's not just the award-winning OD, Jefferson. Friday night on the networks, it was Big Cat shoots 77 and misses the PGA cut. In other news, the world's #1 player was arrested. I get it. Robert, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Robert.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that loss, the Denver loss. I think what happened is they started relying on Jokic to carry the team, and he just wasn't able to do that. I think they got away from their game plan late in the fourth quarter, and just Jokic just couldn't carry him like they wanted him to. I think that's part of the problem. I don't know if that's coaching or not, but the team really needed to play as a team and not just depend on that one player. But anyway, you guys keep up the good work.
Appreciate you, Robert. Thank you. No, look, they needed someone else to help. Jokic was good. Nikola Jokic scored 34 points, had 19 rebounds and 7 assists. Jamal Murray actually was good yesterday. He had 35. So 34 and 35 is 69 points. 69 of your 70 points means the rest of your roster scored 21 points. The rest of your starting lineup scored 16 points. That's what the problem is. Robert, you're kind of right. They needed somebody else to do something, and Michael Porter wasn't there. He shot 3 for 12. He scored 7 points. Aaron Gordon, who I thought was terrific throughout the entire series, was not yesterday. He scored 4 points and had 4 rebounds. Where was he? Contavious Caldwell-Pope had 5 points, and you got 5 points from Christian Brown off the bench. So the problem was, where the hell was everybody else? I'm not blaming this loss on Nikola Jokic. And as much as I didn't think Jamal Murray was good throughout this series, it's hard for me to sit there and blame it on him in Game 7 when the dude came out and scored 35 points. Where was everybody else? You want to ask Michael Malone questions? Why did you get no contribution from anybody else? Is it because everything ran through Jokic and Murray? I mean, between them, they shot the ball 55 times. 55 shots of their 83. Jokic was 13 of 28, and Murray was 13 of 27. So every time you go down the floor, one of those two guys is shooting the basket. Is that coach? That's a really good question. It's a really fair question, Robert. Is it that's the offense I'm running, and I got to get the ball to somebody else? Or is it I won with these two guys and I'm going to die with these two guys? I won a championship going through Jokic and Murray, and I'm going to die going through Jokic and Murray? But somebody else at some point has got to come through and help me. So Michael Porter Jr. is there for. Not to go 3 for 12. Contavious Caldwell-Pope isn't your scorer. But Aaron Gordon's got to give you a little bit more than 4, doesn't he? I think that's a really fair question. You know, somebody else, he said they relied on Jokic. Well, yeah, they rely on Jokic so much. But I can't sit here and blame that dude. Say, well, yeah, he couldn't get it done. I don't know, man. I don't know. I look at him, what he did this whole series. 34 and 19 and 7 yesterday. I can't blame a guy who went 34 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists, and say he's the reason they got beat. And that's not what the caller was doing. He's saying, you know, they relied so much on him and he can't carry them all. No, he's right. But where are you, Michael Porter Jr.? You're making $31 million a year, if I'm not mistaken. Bob Caddy makes $31 million a year. I mean, it's like show up in Game 7. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It was $33 million. $33.3 million is what he makes this year.
Well, I could use a percentage of that.
A little chip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 1%.
Yeah, just a little chip would be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Contavious Caldwell-Pope makes $14.7 million. He gave you 4 points. I'm sorry, he gave you 6. Aaron Gordon's got to be better than that. And I know it's not all about what you make. He only makes $22.2 million.
Only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert, your point's a really fair question. Was that coaching? That would have been a question for Mike Malone. Hey, so your two big dogs scored 69 of your 90 points. They took 55 of your 83 shots. Was that the game plan? I know you win with those guys. I mean, that would have been fair. All right, 505-246-0610. Keep them coming this morning. I got a bunch of correspondence to get to you, but what's next after this exit? Where do they go? Do you throw a max extension at Murray? He's up for a 4-year, $208.5 million extension. Do you throw it at him? Or do you try to make something happen? It's the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like and shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
I think there's a reality that the Nuggets have to face. They won a championship. That's you never take that from them. But they got beat by a better team. And I think that's where there's a lot of people that are holding off and just going, well, the Nuggets are going to be fine. I don't know that I think they are. Nuggets are good. The West is loaded. Chris Finch is the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team who just beat the Nuggets. And he said, quote, "We said to ourselves all series, our best is better than their best. And we just had to play our best," end quote. He's right. See, these were two fully loaded teams. Now, you can tell me Jamal Murray was hurt, and I agree with you. I think Jamal Murray was hurt. But Minnesota's best was better than Denver. They beat them by 45. Minnesota beat the Nuggets by 45 in Minneapolis in Game 6. Minnesota's got a swagger to them. There's that cockiness. There's Karl Anthony Towns talked about leaving Denver after Game 5, where the Nuggets had just won 3 in a row. They were one game away from eliminating the Timberwolves. And he said that Jamal Murray was talking bleak. And I said, don't worry, we'll see. We'll be back here. We'll see. He says he talks a lot of bleak. He was saying, Mike Conley, you can't guard me. So where do the Nuggets go? And they don't have a whole lot of flexibility. What's next? They're not deep. They've got, they're in cap hell. They're committed to Michael Porter Jr. is making all this money. Where do they go? Like they may have peaked. And enjoy your championship. Enjoy it when you can get it, because I don't know how they're going to win another one. And I say that in a reversal of how I felt 3 weeks ago going into this. I thought they were the team to beat. But they got beat. And they got beat by this good young club in Minnesota. And it's so odd to see Minnesota, who's been such an irrelevant, not good franchise for basically their existence. And for their front office to have put together a group that includes Karl Anthony Towns and to find Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert and to bring Mike Conley up there and put together what they've done, they are better than the Nuggets. Bottom line, they were better. They are better. And I think they're going to be better than Dallas. And I think Dallas is nice. But they put together something up there that as of right now, I mean, what Jaden McDaniels is, I mean, people don't like, who's Jaden McDaniels? Where'd he come from? He came from Washington. He was a late first-round pick. They had the Lakers pick, the 28th overall pick in the 2020 draft. It was the Lakers pick. And they found Jaden McDaniels, who's turned into a defensive stopper, who's turned into a scorer. He put up 23 last night. Naz Reid. Naz Reid's the sixth man of the year in the NBA. Guy out of LSU in his fourth season. That's turned into a stud. So what do the Nuggets do? They better develop some depth. And they got a big decision on whether or not they're going to re-sign and extend Jamal Murray. All right, Xander Schauffele wins the PGA. I want your thoughts on a fully loaded weekend. The Preakness, the state championships. Todd Brown's going to be with us. Global Baseball's going back to the conference tournament for the first time since 2017, and they got there in crazy comeback style. How'd their head coach feel about getting shut out for 7 innings and then coming back and winning? Is that a fair question?
I think so.
I'll ask him. Todd Brown's with us at 9:30 on the opening drive on 95.9 FM. And AM 610, the sports animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, paint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
What a weekend, huh? Xander Schauffele, Mountain West golfer, San Diego State, wins the PGA Championship with a birdie on the last hole. When the tournament comes down to the very last stroke and you get the leaderboard that you got, and Bryson DeChambeau warming up for a playoff, and Xander Schauffele making birdie on 18 to win his first major. That was great stuff. Great drama. You got the Preakness. Sees the Gray was the winner at the Preakness. Dwayne Lucas wins again. Lobo baseball comes from behind. They were down 6-0. Beat San Jose State, claimed the second seed in the conference tournament. Their head coach, Todd Brown's going to be with us at 9:30 this morning. State tournaments and championships everywhere, track and baseball and softball, including two straight bases-loaded walks in the big school baseball state championship. Cleveland was 1 out away from beating La Cueva and winning the championship. 2 bases-loaded walks, and La Cueva wins, which is a crazy way. Isn't that nuts?
And that's why they say it ain't over till it's over.
Ain't over till it's over. And then, of course, you got the basketball. Wolves beat the Nuggets last night, eliminate the defending champs. Minnesota will move on. 98-90 was the number there. They'll play the Mavericks, who beat the number 1 seed in the West on Saturday. 117-116, the Dallas Mavericks beat Oklahoma City. So it's Minnesota and Dallas in the Western Conference Final. Eastern Conference Final will be the Indiana Pacers, 130-109 winners over the Knicks in Game 7 at Madison Square Garden yesterday. It'll be the Pacers and the Boston Celtics. Jeff Symbieta and Gato Roberto in this morning. Appreciate you getting up this morning. You got some. You sound like you again.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, first thing in the morning, the
I get
voice
it, man.
is a bit lower and gravelly, and if you're in the business, you say it's a great radio voice.
It's sexy radio.
Yeah. I can still do it a little bit.
That's right here on Cannon Bells. Smooth Jeff. All right, we talk a little bit about Michael Malone, and he's the coach of the Nuggets, how he's been getting beat up a little bit for how he responded and called stupid-ass questions and these things. You're on the text line. I'd totally forgotten about this, but on the text line, you said it reminds me of when a reporter called him Mike, and he snapped at the reporter. I remember that it was, I want to say it was last year, where a reporter in a press conference said, Mike, da-da-da-da-da-da, asked the question, it's Michael. Oh, okay. Yeah, same dude. And then the other little thing that's getting a little bit of run after the games yesterday, and you can call him a front runner, and you can, it's interesting. Tyrese Halliburton. And man, you're going to start learning all these new superstars, and maybe you didn't know much about Tyrese Halliburton, but he's kind of the Pacers guy. After the game, and the Pacers beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, and you go back to the 90s, and you're probably well familiar with the rivalry the Pacers and the Knicks had back in the day, and Reggie Miller with the choke signal, both hands wrapped around his neck, back in the 90s. Well, after the game yesterday, the Pacers eliminate the Knicks. Tyrese Halliburton was wearing a sweatshirt with Reggie Miller's infamous choking gesture on it. And he was asked about it, and he said, it's just a sweatshirt. It's just a hoodie. I want to be comfortable on the plane. We text every day. He's been a good mentor to me. I'm just wearing a hoodie. I like to be comfy on the plane. Reggie Miller didn't waste any time, by the way. He was in on it too. He put out a clip of Josh Hart taking a jab at him during Game 2 when Reggie Miller was doing the broadcast for TNT. Miller said when the series changed momentum, he told the Knicks star Jalen Brunson to heal up on some beautiful beaches in Cancun. So they're talking the bleep the whole time. But Tyrese Halliburton didn't wear that sweatshirt into the arena. I promise you that. I know he didn't. But he had the Reggie Miller choke sign ready to go if, and in this case, when his team eliminated the Knicks. 505-246-0610. Fred, you want to talk some local stuff? Big weekend out at the track. Hi, Fred.
Hey, this had to be the biggest weekend I've gone on the track since the 50s, and this has to be the biggest one ever of all times. Cleveland won its 8th straight championship for the boys, and Los Alamos boys and girls won their 4th straight championships. But it's the things that all the individual events, they you're not going to believe this. How many records usually happen like at a state track meet? Maybe 2, 3, maybe if you're lucky. There was 13 state record championships today. Or last weekend.
Hey, tell me how great that Cassell Davis is from La Cueva, from Las Cruces, because she was unbelievable this week.
She's the best girl. She's the best girl there. There's not a better girl than this Cassell Davis. She won the 100, the 200, the 400, and the high jump, and she set state records in the 200, 400, and high jump. I mean, she is a stud, and she's the reason that El Dorado ended up tying for the state championship because she was way behind. She was like in 6th place, and she ended up coming in 3rd, and it gave Rio Rancho 4 points less than they were hoping, and so they tied with El Dorado. But anyway, the 2 studs was Cassell and then Gianna.
Dude, I'm infatuated with Gianna Raymer. Just the way this 8th grader, and I watched her up close and personal during the cross country season because I was out at so many events, and then I saw her win. I was at that race in Arizona where she won. Actually,
she's unbelievable.
Yeah, I got that was my first photo credit in the journal. I took that picture. That was.
Well, she set the state record in the 1600 on Friday. Comes back and runs the 800 and wins that and sets the state record. Then she goes and runs the 3200 and wins the state record. Yeah. Can you believe that? The 800, 1600, 32.
And she's in 8th grade. She doesn't even it's amazing to me. And when you watch her run, she is one of the most amazing. And I've been around. You've been here longer than me. I've been here. This is my 27th or 28th year. She is as amazing as an athlete as I have seen. She runs with more ease than I've ever seen anyone run. And Fred, she's an 8th grader that is like leaps and bounds ahead of everyone. And when you say, well, yeah, it's just New Mexico, we went out and I was in Arizona for that regional, that Nike regional, and she won the regional with all the best distance runners from Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, like the whole region. I think she finished 6th or 8th in the country when she went up to the national. She's unbelievable.
She wins by so much. I mean, by 20 seconds, 25, 30 seconds every race she races in, too. And so it's amazing. And then, you know, what's kind of cool, too, is you got to give Los Alamos credit for what they've done, you know, winning 4 years in a row for boys and girls. But the thing is, it was kind of neat because the boys, before the track meet started, the boys said the one thing they wanted to do is that they're winning all the time, but they want to set records. And dang, if they didn't, they set records in the 4x100, 4x200, and 4x400. Yeah. And you know who was anchoring the team is a guy that the Lobos are going to get. A guy I'm so happy we're getting him.
Yeah, Malachi Gutierrez.
Yeah, he's anchoring. And then what else? I just want to give credit to some others that set records. The Santa Fe, they got in the 4x200, 4x400. They set state records there. The girls set a state record in the 4x400 relay. And then the last state record was that Charlie Voss, I think is how you pronounce it. He set a record in the 3200. So 13 state records in one weekend.
What a great run.
That is, and then the last thing is I want to give credit. I hate that we didn't get him, and I understand that his dad played football at El Paso, but that's Strat Schufert. This guy is the best.
Stratton Schufelt is his name.
Yeah, he won 12 individual and team championships while at at Cleveland from the track meets and from the state football championships. And of course, he's going to El Paso, and he's going because his dad played there. So,
all right, man. No,
anyway,
that's a great recap. That's a great recap. I appreciate you, Fred.
Thanks.
Let me just tell you, and Bob. So this Jana Raymer won the state cross country big school. She's in 8th grade, and out at meets she would win by a minute and a half, like just running away, and she runs with ease. And I remember taking a couple pictures, just watching her, and there was a moment at the Metro Championships back in, I'm going to guess October, maybe September. And I was watching her. It was out at the community stadium, and she was running. And literally, Bob, she's so far ahead of the pack. It's like she's the best I've seen. And she runs with this smile on her face and this ease. And one of the parents was going, "Go, Gianna, go!" And she says, she looks and she's just like she's nothing,
having the blast of her life,
and has a smile on her face, like, I just saw a bunny, like the pure, unadulterated joy, and she just saw a bunny, right? As she's just killing the field. She's that good, and then I was privileged to go the Nike regionals, which was the biggest meet I've ever seen. Addie ran in it because her whole team went over there, and it was the best high school runners in the region, right? And you think the mountain region, great distance runners because they all train at altitude, and she won that race as an 8th grader.
That's unreal.
She may end up being the most decorated, by the time she's done, most decorated athlete we ever turned out in the state. I think won 15 state titles before he went on to be an All-America at Duke and represent the United States in the Olympics in the decathlon. But Gianna is just, she is special. She was on the show when she was with us. That's where the term junk miles came from. She's because she came on that Monday after she won, and I asked her about, that would have been a good one. I asked her about just how often do you train? She's like, well, I just run some junk miles a few times. We'll run 5-6 miles, junk miles, 5 or 6. Yeah.
I do junk feet, not miles.
I do junk food. 505-246-0610. Todd Brown, Lobo baseball coach, going to be with us at 9:30 here on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 680 Sports Hour.
Get ready to step into the ring of excitement.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See radio, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
One other little shout out for the weekend too. New Mexico Junior College down in Hobbs won the Junior College National Championship in golf this week, which is a big deal. The Thunderbirds shaved 12 strokes off of on Friday. They finished 13 under through 4 rounds. And they beat second place Odessa College, and a big win for them. So, look, national championships are hard to come by, and there aren't a whole lot in this state. So that's a big deal, and congratulations to them. They're getting the state 5A boys champion Jake Urini is going to go to New Mexico Junior College and play next year. So they're getting one of the state's best, state's best boy coming out. Keeping them in state and going there. So congratulations to them. It was a big weekend, Bob. It was. Have you ever been out to like the state track meet?
Not here.
It's insane.
Not here, but when I was in high school,
yeah,
my girlfriend was a track person.
Really?
So of course I had to help her warm up and go to meets and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
you had to help.
So yeah, and she.
How'd you help her warm up? What'd you do?
Well, I'd pace around.
Oh,
with
did
her.
you really?
Yeah, I tried to anyway.
Yeah. Then she ran away from
you. Yeah, she would do that, and she held the state record for hurdles for several years.
Yeah,
so she was quite a gal, and we still keep in touch. Send birthday cards to each other every year.
I kind of like that a lot. Yeah, no, it was a big weekend. 3A baseball, Robertson won. 4A baseball, Grants was a winner. 5A baseball, La Cueva was a winner. Manal Oak Grove was a winner in baseball. A lot of really cool stuff. The weather was perfect this weekend, and everybody. This was a great championship weekend. So congratulations to all the winners. All right.
And one more point. I think high school sports, track, especially, is not as well covered. It's not as well attended, and you're missing out on a lot of really good competition.
Well, I just, as my daughter competed now, we're kind of done with that. But I got to see some stuff that I hadn't seen really since I was at Channel 7. When I was out there covering on a regular basis, and just to see some of the young athletes, and there's some great golfers in the state. There's some great track and field stars in the state, distance and just athletes. Terrific baseball players in the state. I've gone out and done that. So, and then, I've got to see him up close. I've never seen anything like Gianna Raymond. I'm just telling you, and she is as dominant as anyone I've ever seen in any sport in the state, and she is in 8th grade. I mean, she's got 4 years of high school staring at her, and she's a sweetheart. When she was on the show, she couldn't have been more kind, articulate, humble. And I spent a few minutes with her in person after she won that race in Arizona, and I just, again, so impressed with what we've got in the state. It's great stuff. I got a text from Ralph. He sent a surf report from San Diego. Nice swell, but south winds are slopping things up. He says NBA and ABC, ESPN executives are probably thrilled with the prospects of Minnesota, Indiana. Ratings will be non-existent. Congrats to Aztec Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele, San Diego State and Mountain West alum, wins the PGA Championship. I'm going to guess that they're probably not looking forward to. I think they'd rather see Dallas and Boston if you're a TV exec, and bigger markets than Minneapolis and Indianapolis, Minnesota and Indiana. But you've got young teams and good young stars, and you've got new blood. It's not the same stuff. Don, you want to get in on the high school stuff. Good morning, Don. You're on the Sports Animal. How you living?
Good morning, Jeff. How are you, sir?
Life's grooving. Thank you.
Good. Hey, Caitlin Clark, I believe, is tonight, right? So we've got to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, the Fever. Every Fever game will be on TV. Yes, they play tonight.
Yeah. And I called about high school stuff, but just real briefly, I sent you a text last week stating that, the WNBA needs to really hope that she does well and she breaks out, because they've got a lot. She's got a lot on her shoulders, and she's attracting the people. So let's hope that she does well. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. I'd love to see her do well. But anyway, talking about all the young talent in the state, I was out at that golf state tournament and the 5A level. And of course, Jake Green from La Cueva is pretty incredible. But that being said, the next 4 positions, 2 through, I believe, 5, the second place was a freshman from Volcano. The third place was a freshman from Las Lunas. And then 4th and 5th were these twin, I believe they're from Hobbs or Alamogordo, and forgive me for not knowing their names, but these 2 kiddos were 8th graders, and they finished 4 or 5. So out of the top 5, you had 1 senior, 2 freshmen, and 2 8th graders at that 5A level. So
and then you look at the 4A level, right? Yeah, Clark Sonnenberg, who finished 2nd, is going to play for the Lobos. Anya Prashar, who won, I think she won as a freshman. She's a terrific one. And they had another one, and I think I don't know where she's playing, Kalia Ward, who would be a junior right now. I think she's being homeschooled and just playing tournaments, but she's coming out of the state, and she might be the best of all of them. Yeah,
and my boy's been playing since he was a freshman, and he was able to be on that Volcano Vista team and that took state. But since we've been in, playing golf and doing all the Sun Country and the Notre Dame stuff, those kids are just coming in younger and younger, and they're getting better at a younger age just because they're spending so much time on the court.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening too. I really believe, and I give credit to the guys like Nick Mee and Shelley up at Canyon Club and Sig when he was at Tanawan. The PGA Junior program, that is a national program, has started some of these young golfers out early, and they're getting really good instruction starting at 8 years old. That program you age out at 13, but as you're seeing, some of they get the fundamentals of it, and then they're going into these sectional tournaments and getting really, they're falling in love with the game, and they're getting really good instruction at a young age. And they're coming out, they're just taught great swings, unlike probably you and me, where our granddads took us out on Sunday and said, here, do this. And, and so I'm still chopping it up. The talent, and I credit the coaches and the pros in the state for really, really, really doing a great job with the kids.
Yeah. Back when we were younger, all we had was Golf Digest and watching golf on, Saturday and Sunday.
Grandpa, right? Your dad or your granddad or whoever took you out of the game. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, Jeff, thanks for the time, and always remember, Lobos howl, they do not wolf, my man.
See you.
Take care.
Lobos howl, they do not woof, is what I was told. Did you know that? I mean, Bob, have you been to a Lobo game and they say everyone's a Lobo? Woof, woof, woof. He says Lobos howl, they do not woof.
Yeah, well, usually I'm producing games, so I never get to go to them.
All right, fair enough. Lobo baseball howls and woofs, and they're in the conference tournament. Back in it and finished in second place in the Mountain West Conference. Conference tournament starts this week in San Diego. A big come-from-behind victory over San Jose State to get them into the conference tournament. Their head coach is Todd Brown. He's going to the Mountain West tournament for his first time. I'm going to have a conversation with him on a big comeback victory and a good season. And it's not over. It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action.
Tournament first time since 2017. A big come from behind win in San Jose on the final game of the season. And New Mexico finishes second in the Mountain West Conference. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta. We'll get back to your phone calls in a little bit. Air Force wins the conference at 18-12, one game better than New Mexico at 17-13, and then a three-way tie at 16-14, one game back for third place between Fresno State, Nevada, and San Jose State. Nevada's the team that gets left out on the tiebreakers. Lobos will play San Jose State again Thursday in San Diego. First round of the conference tournament. Todd Brown is the Lobo head baseball coach, and he joins us this morning. Congratulations, Todd. Nothing's easy, is it?
No, thanks for having me on. It was a wild day. We knew going in, if we won, that we were going to be in the tournament for sure. and had a chance at sharing the title, depending on the Air Force Fresno State game.
Air Force lost.
With the loss, with the loss, it depended on other scores, but we felt pretty good about a tiebreaker situation and not getting left out like Nevada did. But, here it is. We're down and then score 6 runs and then get a 3-run lead and then give it up and then get a 1-run lead and hold on to it. It was a wild day not knowing what the other scores were. We could have gotten our phones out, but that's not the right thing to do. Is we just knew we had to win, and our guys came through.
You get shut out for 7 innings. You're down 6-0 going into the top of the 8th inning. Last game of the year, and you want to control your own fate, right? Win and get in. You're down 6-0. How you feeling going into the 8th inning? Because, you didn't know you're putting up a 6 spot, then a 9 spot, and going to win in the 11th. But you're down, and the bats are quiet. How you feeling going into the 8th?
Well, to be honest with you, something had to change. And the easiest is getting their starter out of there and getting to their bullpen, because we've been getting to a lot of bullpens. We can really hit, and we've been tearing up people's bullpens. And I made 3 changes in that 8th inning. I went to Josh McAllister, who's been in and out of our lineup throughout the year, was our starter, got hurt. And then I went to Sean Stevens and Devin Dixon. And I basically cleared the bench and just said, well, we need some energy. We need something. Something's got to change. And before you know it, we got something cooking, and Will Aspie hit a ball completely out of the stadium for a grand slam to make it 6-6. And then we kept adding on, and we were 1 strike away with a 3-run lead and couldn't get it done. But our guys kept fighting and, ultimately came through and got the big hit by Josh McAllister, and then held on with Daxton Purser came in out of the bullpen.
Yeah, let me explain what happened for those of you who don't know. So the Lobos were down. They were down 6-0 going to the 8th. They scored 6 in the 8th to tie it. They scored 3 in the top of the 9th. So they are now up 9-6 going to the bottom of the 9th. They're 3 outs away, and San Jose State scores 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th and pushes this thing in extra innings, and you get the base hit in the 11th and win. Do you know, Todd, if you would have lost and fallen into that tiebreaker, do you know where you would have fallen in that tiebreaker? Would you have been in? Would you have been out? Do you even know?
We actually would have been in. We would have been the 4 seed because Air Force beat Fresno. So now you have a 3-way tie with Fresno, us, and Nevada. And the way it worked out was Nevada would have been kicked out of that tiebreaker as well because of head-to-head competition against the teams you're tied with. So, not knowing that. One interesting thing that I'm sure the listeners will be interested in, the 9th inning, we had San Jose State had 1st and 2nd with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
So you're a strike away.
And our pitch comm, which is all of our players wear on the wrist, is we electronically send in the pitches. That way we don't have any traditional signs with our catcher. Well, because the game was long, those pitch comm batteries ran out, so we had to go to the old school sign system, and they picked up on it, and we didn't have any mound visits left, so we couldn't go out and do anything about it. And they were actually relaying our pitches. And so they tied it up by relaying their pitches to the hitter and ended up scoring 3 runs.
So when you don't have any mound visits, your catcher can't go out and talk to your pitcher? Nothing. Nobody can go out? You got to pull.
Nope, we have 6 total.
Yeah.
3 can be by a coach, max. And so we were maxed out. And so we're scrambling, trying to figure out, how to get through the inning and charge up some of these things. And so we can get to extra innings. And it was a mess, but ultimately we got through it. And, our guys really hung in there. That was a gut check for sure.
Technology is great until it's not, huh?
It's great when it works.
Yeah. So will you now go into like have a contingency? I'm going to guess you never figured, all right, we're going to have to put down fingers. 1 is fast, 2 is curve, 3 is slider, 4 is changeup, whatever. now will you have a system on backup and basically with your catchers and your pitchers say, all right, if the batteries go down, here's where we are. It's going to be the second number, the third number, whatever it is.
Yeah, and we did have that, but they picked up on it, so that's where we were scrambling, trying to figure out how to change it.
Wow, and that's part of the game. I know people are saying, "What do you mean they're stealing your signs?" That's okay. It's not with video and technology. If they can steal your signs that way, then that's part of the game, right?
Yeah, and they weren't even trying to hide it. They were yelling, "See it," which means fastball, and "Stay back," which means the off-speed pitch is coming. So they were yelling it because, I mean, they were in desperation as well. They're down to their final out. They're trying to make the tournament as well. So they just said, you know what, we're not even going to try to hide it.
Yeah, that's
and so we were scrambling the entire time trying to figure out how to change the system with no mound visits left.
That's insane. He's Todd Brown, Louisville baseball coach. So Louisville's finished second in the conference. It's a big deal for you in this program, isn't it? I mean, this is for you now, your first time getting back to the tournament, the conference tournament. You got opportunity now to do some great things. You got San Jose State on Thursday, but I got to believe for you and where the program is, this is a big deal. Finishing it second in this league and getting to where you are.
Yeah, my first year we finished last. Second year we finished fifth and really had a good team, but just kind of sputtered down late and didn't play very well and just missed the tournament. In year three, we finished second, making the tournament. And so it's a big step forward for the program, and we're hoping to continue doing this and moving up in the standings and making the tournament on a yearly basis. But until you get there for the first time, it's really, really hard because you have a bunch of guys in your locker room that have never been there. And you have entire coaching staff that is here for 3 years and hasn't been there. And to make it and to do what those guys did there on Saturday afternoon was a big step forward for our program. And now we have a bunch of guys in our locker room that are going to experience the conference tournament and hopefully go over there and play well and win it. And if we do win it, that's even more experience for our returning guys to have a taste of it, to know what it takes to get there. And if we don't win it, but we're there and we compete, it's just again, those returning players have that experience to pass on to the future teams that we have coming in and see if we can do this every year.
All right, Todd, going in. So how do you approach this? You get San Jose State, you split with them. You took 2 out of 3 in your place. They took 2 out of 3 in their place. You just saw them this week. There's no secrets especially, I mean, you can't even put a finger down. They know what's coming. So there's no secrets. Do you like the matchup? And how do you approach it? Do you pitch the same way you pitch in a regular series, or do you throw your ace? How do you approach a tournament like this?
Yeah, it really comes down to starting pitching is going to decide how far we go into this tournament. And we're going to approach it the same way. A lot of people don't know San Jose State was picked to win it preseason. And they won the regular season last year. They won the conference tournament last year. So they went to the NCAA regional at Stanford, and they were picked to win it. And they just didn't play very well the first couple of months. They have almost everybody on last year's team back, and they just didn't play very well. And when we saw them in March, they are a completely a different team now than they were in March, and they're playing like the team that everybody in the league picked them to be. And so it's going to be a challenge for us. Obviously, just saw them for 3 games, got them again. It'll be interesting to see who they start. Obviously, the guy that pitched the best against us threw a complete game, but he threw 131 pitches on Friday. And does he come back on short rest, or do they save him because of how many pitches he throws for a week's rest? So it'll be interesting to see who they start against us, and then we'll build our lineup from there.
Well, evidently the guy who threw the last game on Saturday threw a hell of a game too, right? Their starting pitcher there. Yeah,
another lefty is, we stack quite a few hitters in our lineup that are left-handed, and Friday and Saturday, both of their starters were left-handed and have really excellent stuff, velocity with breaking ball. Yeah. And so are they going to run those guys out on short rest, or are they going to go to the guy that we saw on Thursday, which was right-handed, and we knocked him out pretty early?
Todd Brown is with us. Just a few more minutes, and I'm going to let you go. The league this year was crazy, and I look at it, and I don't know. I didn't see enough of everybody else. Is it really good? Is it really kind of everybody the same? I look at the standings, and your top 5 teams are literally within 2 games of each other. And, I don't know what happened to San Diego State and UNLV. Those are 2 programs that are traditionally really good. This league, I mean, the winners 18 and 12. You guys are 17 and 13. It was insanely balanced this year.
Yeah, and when I got this job 3 years ago, I looked at past standings, and it was the same. It was not much separation between 1 and 2, and there wasn't much difference between, say, 3 and 6, 4 and 7. It is one of those conferences where the last place team is not very far away from the first place team. And evidence of that was Fresno State was in first place. They go to San Diego State, who's in last place, and San Diego State swept them. So it really comes down to it's a long season, and you have to catch people at the right time. And sometimes teams are running hot. Sometimes teams are kind of running cold. And we went through that as well. We had our cold spell there in late March, early April, where we lost some games in a row. Luckily for us, we had a non-conference weekend built in there, so we didn't lose much ground conference-wise. But it is a conference that is wild. You have, here, Air Force and Nevada, the ball really flies with elevation and wind. And then you go to San Diego State, Fresno State, San Jose State, where it's more traditional baseball at sea level. So it's almost like you have to have 2 different types of styles and 2 different types of teams, because in some places you have to play small ball, steal bases, really pitch because the runs are not going to be very much. And then if you come to our ballpark, you got to really score.
You like having this thing in San Diego? It's more small ball, sea level, ball doesn't fly as much?
Well, it's more traditional baseball. I'm glad we're playing the day game because the ball flies a little bit more during the day, and that's kind of our strength is our lineup. What I like is San Diego State's not in the tournament. They're hosting it, but they're not there, so it is a true neutral site. And I think in the future we're looking at getting a pro park in either Phoenix or Las Vegas and having the tournament at a neutral site, so we don't run into this issue where a host team is not even in the tournament.
Yeah,
I think that would be a really good venue for us, is expand the field by a couple teams and move to a neutral site. I think is the best thing for our conference.
All right, lastly, you like the way your team's playing? You're 5-5 in your last 10, but you got a big win coming off the last one. Nobody's really streaking except for Air Force. You like the way your team's playing?
I do. I think, it all starts on the mound. We've settled into our rotation with Dane Pengelly and Brett Russell will start the first 2 games. And I like our lineup and the way that they're swinging it. And I like how the guys are playing with a little chip on their shoulder and really being intense. I like our guys that are on the bench are really into it and helping guys out that are playing. And it's been a good team atmosphere, and we're hoping to keep it going.
Congratulations. I know it's a big deal. It was a big win. Had to be a lot of nerves, but, man, those are the best, right? They're not as fun going through, having all the emotions, losing, winning, lose the lead, win at the end. But when it comes out the right way, it's a great celebration, and I know it's a big step for this program. Appreciate you coming on last minute this morning, Todd. Best of luck in San Diego. Keep it rolling.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll see you soon.
Be well. He is Todd Brown, third-year baseball coach at UNM. So they're down 6-0 going into the 8th. They score 6 in the top of the 8th to tie it. They score 3 in the top of the 9th to go ahead, and they're 1 out away, and the other guys are stealing their signs. I didn't know that whole thing with the electronic pitch comes. So the batteries died on their little watch thingies or whatever they were, and San Jose State's stealing their signs and calling them out.
That's wild.
And roping the ball around the yard, and so they score 3 in the bottom of the 9th to tie it, and they go to the 11th, and Lobos win and get the 2 seed overall. That was good stuff, and I appreciate Todd doing that. All right, wrap it up when we come back. Everything you got to know as you go through your Monday here on the opening drive. Jeff Simbieta, Gato Roberto on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Sports Minute.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my...
Monday, people are going to be talking about the weekend. What do you got to know as you go? You got to know that the Western Conference Final is set in the NBA. It'll be Minnesota and Dallas. Timberwolves eliminate the champion Nuggets 98-90, Game 7 in Colorado. Nuggets were up by 20. Came from ahead and lost. Anthony Edwards 16-8 for the winners. Karl Anthony Towns had 23. Nikola Jokic had 34 points, 19 rebounds in a losing effort for the Nuggets, whose season ends. They will play the Mavericks, will the Timberwolves, because the Mavs beat the Thunder 117-116 on Saturday. Eastern Conference Final is set. Indiana's Pacers will face the Celtics. Indiana beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Game 7 yesterday, Jalen Brunson broke his hand in the game for the Knicks, 130-109. Indiana shot an NBA playoff record 67.1% from the field, the best shooting by percentage ever in a playoff game in the NBA, and the Pacers win Game 7. They are on to the NBA Finals. Xander Schauffele wins the PGA Championship. He birdies number 18, one stroke better than Bryson DeChambeau, the 21 under par. Most under par ever in a major championship in golf. Sees the Gray won the Preakness over the weekend, and Lobo Baseball was a winner in 11 innings in San Jose to claim the number 2 seed in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Lobo Baseball will play San Jose State again Thursday in San Diego, Tony Gwynn Stadium, as the conference tournament gets underway. That's what you got to know. I think that's what everybody's going to be talking about as you go through your day. Tonight, you get a Game 7 in the hockey. The Canadian team, the Canadians love them some hockey. It'll be in Vancouver, Edmonton, Vancouver, Game 7. Got Roberto's in for JJ today. I watched. I love the hockey, and I love the playoff hockey, the intensity. And they were up in Edmonton. It was an elimination game, Game 6, Vancouver and Edmonton on probably Saturday afternoon, whenever I was watching it. And so they go to the guy, their voice, to sing "O Canada," right?
Yeah.
And he's not on the ice. He's in the stands wearing an Edmonton Oilers sweater, right?
Okay,
And with all the fans. And he's, one of those deep voices, "Oh, Canada," right? I don't have the voice today. Not that I ever have
it up.
Do you have that guy?
Well, not that guy, but I have the song.
Oh, no. Because the beauty of it, he sang the first verse and held the mic out, and the whole building sang the rest of "O Canada."
Oh, how cool.
And the pride that the Canadians, at least in this building, and I don't know Canadian politics, but I was thinking, like, what building in America would we sing the national anthem? Would it have to be in Texas or Alabama or something? And I'm not trying to make a political statement here. My whole point was watching the national anthem sung at the Edmonton game on Saturday. Dude goes, "Oh, Canada, our home and native land," right? And he got that, and he sings that first verse, and then he holds the mic out, and the whole building sang the rest of the song.
That is so cool.
And it was packed, and it was just one of those where I'm not even Canadian. I'm like, whoa, that's really Canadian cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I'll give you one. So, BYU UTEP. It was the 5th New Mexico Bowl, so this would be 2010. We're out at UNM, and it was a wireless mic. We always have a wired mic now for the national anthem, but I remember the young lady who came out. She was on either American Idol or one of those national shows. She was from Albuquerque. She was all dressed up, and the mic didn't.
Oh boy!
And I mean, literally, and we did the test. We do all those things, and the mic didn't work. And the BYU band started singing the national anthem. And it spread around the stadium, and the whole stadium sang the national anthem. That it was one of those where it was horrible for that young lady. And we did have her back the next year to sing it, and
and it worked.
And we had a wired mic, and she was great. But it was one of those chill moments where, and I remember, RJ Berry was the mayor at the time, and he was standing in front of me, and he turns around, he looks at me, he says, "Where I work, someone gets fired for this." Like, oh bleep, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. And literally, as he's saying that,
you did all the testing and everything.
Oh, I mean, stuff happens, right? Stuff happens, and the BYU band started singing, and it spread around the whole stadium. And it was actually really, really cool. One of those you can't plan it organic moments, right? If you tried to plan it, it wouldn't happen. But it kind of had that feel to it. I don't know. Anyway, you get Edmonton and Vancouver Game 7 tonight in National Hockey League. Anything I didn't get to, there was some stuff. We'll hit all the football stuff over the weekend when we get back, and there was some good NFL stuff as we're going into camps. Scotty Scheffler stuff tomorrow. So when we come on tomorrow at 7:00, and I don't know if you're going to get out of bed for that one or not. I guess we'll see tomorrow.
We'll see how things work.
I plan on being here.
Okay.
Just for the record.
Well, I'm going to set my alarm clock just in case. Waking up after the show has started is
you came with your hair looking.
Well,
at least you had time to comb your hair.
What little I have of it.
I get it. Scotty Scheffler will be in court tomorrow, so he's got his arraignment in Louisville, 7:00 in the morning. So we'll have that as we go through tomorrow. And that's what you got. No hoops tonight. The next hoops you get will be on when's the 21st? Is that tomorrow? Today the 20th? Yeah, so tomorrow you get game 1 Eastern Conference. So now you're going to go East-West, East-West, East-West every night. Now that we're down to the 2 series, you'll get Eastern Conference final tomorrow night. It'll be game 1 in Boston, Indiana, and Boston Celtics have been just sitting around and waiting for the winner to come through, and they will get the Pacers. And then the Nuggets, will hear a lot about them. What do they do? And can you believe Michael Malone cussed and said stupid-ass questions?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, he would never do.
Did that bother you? Michael Malone, the coach of the Nuggets, was asked to quantify how hard is it because you're up by 20 to lose. And he said, look, man, what hurts is the season's over. That's what you don't understand. Bleep being up by 20. And again, I don't even have a problem with him dropping the F-bomb. Bleep being up by 20. I think where people got upset was when he made it personal and went after the reporters. Stupid-ass questions.
Well, he just had a rough night. What do you want? I'll cut him some slack.
I will too. Jim Rome Show is next. I missed them both. Heard with Colin Cowherd is after that. 2 Men On is here at 4. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Adrian looks great on the visual side, always does. Gato Roberto, thank you for coming in, waking up in the middle of the night, and coming in and pinch hitting for us.
It was a pleasure.
Always enjoy having you here. Thank you. Always. Thanks to Todd Brown, Lobo baseball coach. He was with us today as well. Be good to each other, boys and girls. Enjoy the gorgeous day. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing, and we will smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.